Hey, my baker friends, it's Mrs. Herbay. We are celebrating America this week, and one of the art projects that you can choose to do is to create an American flag, but you will collage it. So you're going to use some different materials to create your flag. So what you're going to need is you're going to need to have printed out this piece of, we're familiar with these from probably last week, but we're going to print out a piece of this paper that has the stripes on it, and you're going to need to print out this star sheet. And then I also have this is the words to the Pledge of Allegiance, kind of written all over paper, and then this is the words to the Star Spangled Banner written all over paper. So if you print all of those things out, I will show you what we can do. So the first thing that you can do is you can color some of these. If you have red paper, you can also make strips from the red paper, but I'm just assuming that you don't. So what you can do is you can either take a combination of marker, crayon, colored pencil, and you can color all of these strips red, not all of them, but most of them. And you can try different techniques with it. So for example, maybe for the first one, I'm just going to color it in. And I'm using, in this case, it's a colored pencil. Now with a colored pencil, I can get a dark and a light value. So for this one, when I color this one in, I'm going to try to get a really dark value. So I'm really pressing hard. Then it will give your fingers a little workout. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that for a stripe. You could take, my red crayon broke, but you could try some different things. Like you could try coloring in one direction like this with a crayon. Then you could try coloring like this in this direction to kind of give yourself a different kind of texture. So you can kind of still see the lines there. You could do one where you like just fill it in with squiggle lines that kind of overlap one another. That's an option. Even with the colored pencil, you could try different things. Like you could try going this way and then that way to color in some of the stripes. So I just want you to kind of have some fun. That's just with crayon and colored pencil, but you can also, if you have marker, that's another option. Now marker, you can't get quite as fancy with marker as far as dark and light values go, but you can do solid with marker. You can also do, with marker, you can also do kind of fun things with lines to fill in the stripes too, rather than just coloring it in. So just kind of experiment around and see what you can also do the wavy all the way around kind of thing. You could do that with marker because it's nice and dark. And then you could take your colored pencil and then fill in the white space. So take a few minutes, have some fun, and color in a lot of your stripes that we can use when we go to collage your flag. All right, so for the next step, once you have your stripes colored in, and try different things with them. You can guess we are going to cut these apart. So if you just want to take your time and just cut along the black line nice and carefully so you get all of the stripes cut out. And then another thing well, actually, you know what? I'll talk to you about this in a second. So take a minute, let's cut out all the stripes, and then I'll tell you the next step. All right, friends, now you should have all of your stripes cut out, and I'm just gonna put those aside for a minute until I need them. And then there's this sheet that has all different size stars on it. Now you can cut out these stars and use them as we can use them as part of the collage. Or another thing, I also have here some stars that are drawn with some dashed lines. And a lot of times friends have trouble drawing stars. And so what you could do is, if you have trouble drawing stars, you could just trace over the dashed lines for right now, just simply to practice. It's only just to practice to get the hang of that motion. But then once you do get the hang of it, if you wanted to draw your own stars too, you can. And then what I like to do is you can erase those inner lines, and then let's say you take a marker, and I'm going to outline just the outer. Check that out. And then see how I drew my own star? So you can also do that too. But these were just some practice ones that you could do. So you can take, once you practice, if you need it, just going up, down, diagonal, horizontal, diagonal. So I'm going to do a bigger one. If you make your first mountain bigger, then your star will be bigger. So I'm going to outline this one too, just to give you the hang of it. And then I'm going to erase that middle. Okay, so take a few minutes. You can cut the stars out. And as always, what I like to do is, it's so much easier cutting things out when you cut them loose first. So I would probably cut the stars out first, just bubble around them. And then once you've bubbled around it, I'll show you, I don't know if you guys remember, you can cut down one side and then down the other, and that helps you get out that little point in there. Or you can just go down, turn the paper, and then rotate, and then down, turn the paper, and out. Or the other way again was this way, this way. Okay, so take a few minutes, cut out the stars, and then we will collage a flag. All right, my friends, there's one more cool thing that I wanted to show you that you could do with these stars besides just using them in the collage. You could put them down on a white piece of paper, and then I would suggest using a crayon. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to hold that star in place. And what I'm doing is I'm coloring out from the star. So I'm only going out. And I'm working my way around. And I'm still holding it in place so it's not moving. And check it out. See, you get these like this cool. Now that's the negative space from the star. So you could take different size stars And you could do that with, and you could even do it with different colors. But it gives you a really cool look. So that's another thing that you can do with the stars. If the stars seem kind of flimsy and they're kind of too floppy, you could also take a piece of cardboard from like a cereal cracker box, glue it on, cut it out, and then use that too. But if you're careful and you just color in one direction out, and I would either use crayon's probably the best for this because marker kind of will bleed through the paper, and colored pencil, the point isn't as thick. If you had oil pastels at home, that would also be kind of a cool option too. So there's another star, different size. But you could do a whole page of stars if you wanted to. Do one more. Okay, so now when I've done that, I've kind of, you kind of ruin at least that side of the star, but I can turn it over and still get white. So all right, so now I have all my, all the things that I need or that I could possibly need to create my flag. And so what you're going to do is you're going to, so I have my stars and I kind of have this other little bit here. I have my red stripes. I have my words from the Pledge of Allegiance, and I have words from the Star Spangled Banner. So what you can do is, I think it might be easiest if you have like a cereal box, you can use that as the cardboard that you can just glue directly onto it. So what I would do is take a piece of just this 8.5 by 11, and you can take your pencil and just trace around the outside. Oops, I don't think you guys can see that part. Okay, so now I have a rectangle on the cardboard. So what you can do first is, if you have any other cool things like newspaper or magazines or any other things you want to use, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out around the edge of this Pledge of Allegiance. I got rid of that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this into just random pieces. And you can use curvy lines. You can just make straight cuts. You can have little pieces, bigger pieces. So just go ahead, do that. So cut this up. And then you can also cut up, do the same thing for the Star Spangled Banner sheet, okay? And then I will show you the next step. Okay, now I have cut out all the words into different pieces. And so what you're gonna do is you're just gonna glue those onto the background. So the whole, and I don't want to put glue stick all over the whole piece of paper or the whole piece of cardboard, because we know what happens. The glue will dry too fast. So I'm just kind of putting it where I'm sticking. If I need a smaller piece, stick that there. So just have some fun, and you want to and if a piece isn't sticking, you can just get it underneath. And you can see that the words to the Star Spangled Banner are a little bit lighter. So when I created those, I made the printing a little bit lighter. So you can kind of see how there's a contrast of dark and light, which looks kind of cool. So go ahead and take some time, and this is just fun. You can just kind of, or you know what else you can do is you can also just put the glue on the back of the piece of paper as well. And just kind of having fun with this. All right, so go ahead, and then once we get the background with all the words done, then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I got all of my words glued on, and now we can start to think about putting on the stripes, because we know that the American flag has red and white alternating stripes. Now here's the deal. You can be as creative as you want with this. You do not necessarily have to make it look exactly like the American flag, or you can kind of try to make it look like the American flag. So for example, like, see how I started making these stars like this? So what I can do is I can cut this out here and see, oh, would that work? And maybe if I cut it off right here. So that could be a cool solution to the stars. Another thing that you could do is you could draw a rectangle where you want the stars. So I'm going to take my pencil. And again, your lines don't have to be perfectly straight. I'll draw that rectangular area where I want. And then maybe I take my crayon and I lightly color this area blue. And the cool thing is that I'm getting all kinds of different sort of lines from the paper that are kind of coming through. And the other thing is I can still read some of the words because the crayon isn't covering them up. So that's an option. And then after I colored this, then I could take my stars and I could glue my stars on here. A lot of my stars have blue on them, but even if you like that big star, you could put the big star. I could flip some of my stars over so they don't have an outline, but they're like that. So, and then what you can do is you can then figure out, oh, where, so now that I know that, I can cut the stripe. That one's too short. But then I can start to figure out, oh, okay, I can fit 2 stripes here. Then this one goes all the way. And then maybe I want, let me try a different one. This one. And this one. So see how you can kind of, and then I can glue those down. I could also, if I wanted to, instead of using this strip, I could draw, again, I could draw those, a line there, and then I could color, actually I don't think I want to do it with a marker because I'll be able to, it'll cover up the, but I could also draw directly over top of this. You might want to come up with a flag design that uses the stars and stripes, but is a different flag design, and you can do that too. So I hope that this demonstration kind of sparked your imagination of some different things that you can try, and then I just hope you have fun creating your own American flag. I'd love to see your work. You can stop by my office hours and I can help you, or I can just enjoy seeing what you've made, and I can't wait to see what you actually do make.